A little over a year ago, I ordered a DualSense joystick replacement kit, but there was a problem. The joystick modules in the kit were for the PS4 controllers. Mechanically they're the same, electrically they are not. So I ended up ordering some DualSense replacement joysticks from a place in Hong Kong. It took a month to get them, but they were the correct joysticks for the PS5 controllers. Over a year has passed, so I thought, let's give Amazon another shot at a DualSense joystick replacement kit. It's time. This one ships from Amazon and is sold by VEA-NIC. I'll put the link in the description. Can get free shipping on it, so makes it an okay price. This kit is supposed to have 4 joystick modules, 4 joystick knobs, 4 caps to go on the knobs, a pry tool, and a small screwdriver. The knob feels pretty close to an original knob. The caps are, I don't know if I would even like having them on. Probably takes some getting used to. One extra cap in this one, but there is supposed to be just 4. And the joysticks are made by Alps, but are they the correct joysticks? Yes, they are, reading right around 2.2 k ohms, well within the tolerance for a 2.1 k ohm nominal value. This is a proper kit to repair a DualSense controller, so very good. I'm going to take a closer look at the individual pieces. This is probably some of the latest manufactured Alps joysticks I've run across, so first thing I'm going to check is if they still click when moved. Yep, still click. I'm starting to think the Alps joysticks always clicked. I just never noticed it. If it was something they changed in the manufacturing that caused the click, they probably would have fixed it by now. Or it could be one of those, the defect becomes the feature sort of thing. Now I do check the potentiometers on the joysticks before I install one. Here, since I'm reviewing this kit and not installing them, I'll check them all right at the get-go. Measuring the ratio of resistance from center tap to each end does give a good idea of how electrically centered the potentiometer is. But there is a certain amount of center tap resistance in these potentiometers, so it's hard to get a really accurate off-center error value from just measuring the resistance. What I do is supply 2 volts across the potentiometer and then measure the center tap value. I'll spin the lever a few times. Who knows if it's ever been moved before. Then I'll move the lever in one direction and release it back to the center, record that value. Then move the lever in the opposite direction and release it back to the center and record that value. I usually do this a couple of times, should have close to the same values. Then I'll repeat the same thing for the other axis. This is going to tell me 2 things. How close to electrical center is this potentiometer, and how bad is the hysteresis on this axis. The nice thing about using 2 volts is that the zero error voltage is 1.00 volts. So the difference from 1.00 volts is the error voltage, and also the percentage of error. So axis 1 is almost perfect. Axis 2 maximum off-center error is 4%. And hysteresis is right at 5%. I think this is a very good joystick. Okay, now for joystick number 2. Axis 1 with a maximum off-center error of 7%. Axis 2 maximum error of 6%. Hysteresis is less than 5% for both. The 7% is more than I would like, but probably still okay. Joystick number 3 now. Maximum error on axis 1 is 2%. Wow, error on axis 2 is 11%. Hysteresis is good for both, but I would not put this joystick in a controller. It might be fine, I just feel that's too much error. Now the last joystick. Axis 1 at least 9% off. That's not good. And about the same for axis 2. To be honest, I would only use 2 of these 4 joysticks in a controller. It's just too much work to change one out to risk there being problems. This is why I checked them. If everything is within 5% error, I think that is about as good as it gets. Once get up to around 10% error, I think that is asking for problems. A bit disappointed in the joysticks? That's why it's always good to order a few extra. Never know if the lot you're getting was a good or bad run. Now the replacement knobs. They look pretty good. May have to trim a bit of molding flash from them. Not really a problem. The knobs are pretty close to the original. The replacement knob center is a little flatter, and the edges are not quite as round. I would say if you're having to replace, say, the left knob, we'll probably want to replace both. I think you will notice the difference if one is a replacement and the other is the original. But I'm happy with these. The thumb caps. They could be silicone. Feel quite nice. They're a good tight fit on the thumb knob. It feels okay, I'm just not a fan of them. In a tight spot, could use it for the destroyed overmold on the knob. It's a little loose, but better than nothing. Don't even have to pull the controller apart. I can see where they would protect the overmold on a thumb knob, so they could be a useful preventative measure. As for the tiny plastic pry bar and screwdriver, the pry bar pries just like it should. It does have a pretty sharp lip on it, so it does fit in between the plastic pieces quite well. And the tiny Phillips screwdriver fits the screws nicely. It's good to be able to finally order a PS5 joystick kit and it include the correct joysticks. I don't think I got a very good batch of joysticks in this kit, but that is really going to be just luck of the draw. I mean, they are Alps joysticks. And I've had other joysticks from Alps and Favor Union that have had errors a little worse than these. I just put them aside and don't use them. Maybe I'm being too picky about the joysticks. But if the output is off by 10% or more, I'm not going to put it in a controller. I'm really looking for the joysticks with errors under 5%. Only got one in this kit that meets that criteria. But with the joysticks being relatively cheap, I think can and should be picky about them. Thank you for watching.